Oh my god, will you just please hurry the hell up already? Yo, what is up guys, it's TyrantX1 here and welcome to another game review. This time I am reviewing Ryse, Son of Rome, a third-person hack-and-slash video game set in the Roman times during the events of Boudica's uprising, and it's developed by Crytek Studios. Now let's begin. Ryse, Son of Rome, let's just say it was a pretty mediocre game, because the campaign, playing through that, didn't really take me long to do, pretty much just under 6 hours, and I was playing it on the normal difficulty, so it's not really going to be that tough, especially since it's kind of your usual hack and slash kind of game. It's like you press a bunch of buttons and then you can do a special move and then that's pretty much it. The story of this game is not very impressive. You play as pretty much a Roman centurion who then unlocks these secret powers over time. Yeah, it basically becomes some guy named Damocles and stuff like that. A lot of things happen, but the story just doesn't progress very well in my case. I mean, the first half was meh and kind of mediocre, but when it tries to become more interesting, it just becomes more stupid and annoying, just the campaign. And yeah, the characters, there's really no point in getting to know them or getting attached to them, because it's pretty much in the end you die. That's pretty much it. Pretty much all that fighting, and then you die in the end. And yeah, pretty much the ending, the last part of the game, is literally a QTE. And yeah, but to be honest, from a game like this, how else was it going to end? So yeah, I mean, you do get to meet some historical figures like Boudica, who rebelled against the Roman Empire, and then there's Nero, who's like the crazy ass emperor who basically burned down the whole city. He basically burned down all of Rome. You do meet some god figures as well, but really they don't really play a big major role anyway. So yeah, I mean, the campaign, I mean, it was, yeah, story-wise it didn't really progress very well. I mean, you're not really gonna get much from it if you're trying to look for a good story. This is definitely not that place. This is just a place where you're just gonna be fighting for a bunch of guys, and pretty much when you do get towards the end, yeah, you're just gonna be dead for disappointment. And the annoying thing is about this game is that to try and make itself a little bit more harder, it tries to introduce as many enemies at a time in a single area, which is always an annoying thing, which is always a stupid way of trying to make a game more difficult. It's like, yeah, we're not gonna up the ante much, we're just gonna shove more enemies at you, or more of them, or the more difficult enemy types to fight against. Yeah, the campaign really has nothing going for it. I mean, hell, there is some set pieces throughout the game. You can go on do these sort of what things, you can create a shield wall thing against a bunch of arrows flying at you. You can make decisions of when to place your archers and your infantry and stuff. Hell, you can even fight on a ballista, which are pretty cool, but that's a very little thing compared to the rest of the game. It's not really going to save it much. But to be honest, at least this game had a campaign in some cases. At least this wasn't just an MMO in some cases. At least it tried. I mean, tried to give the character a backstory, his parents get killed or his whole family gets killed, and then basically just goes on a route for revenge. But yeah, we've seen that millions of times. I will say this game does look very good. Though to be honest, this game did feel like it was just made to show off the power of the Xbox One. So basically, this game felt to me like the Order 1886 for the Xbox One. So yeah, but honestly, I keep thinking the stories are probably just as bad. I mean, yes, there's not as many cinematics, but yeah, even when they do have cutscenes, the characters' movements and animations feel very wonky and very jittery. They don't look as if they move very well. It's very No, that's not the word I'm looking for. I was going to say static, but that's not even a word. Yeah, the animation just doesn't look right for the characters when they move in cutscene. And other than that, this game did look nice. I think that's probably the only good thing I can probably say mostly about this game. Yeah, well, about the campaign. I mean, you can upgrade your character in the campaign by unlocking points, and then you'll be able to upgrade your character over time, but I'll get to that in a minute. Now, the mechanics of this game are very simple. You have your block button, you have your counterattack button, you have your attack button, and you have your evade button. But when there is a skull symbol above an enemy's head, you will be able to execute them. Now, I want to say this was a good mechanic placed into the game, because if you execute an enemy, not only does it have a decent quick time event, probably a decent animation of executions, but there is a power-up system. Like you have on your D-pad, there are 4 ways you can boost yourself up, which is there is a health regen boost, there's a focus regen boost, or something like that. Yeah, focus boost. Where focus is basically your sort of overpower mode, where you can just basically slash and hack your enemies as many times as you want until it goes away. Which is very useful for when you're up against tough enemies. It pretty much saved my ass throughout most of the game. Otherwise, this game, I probably would still be playing this game. There's an XP boost and a damage boost. I never use the damage boost because what's the point when you have the focus? The health regen will pretty much save your ass a lot. So make sure you have that on most of the time. And the only other one I did select as well was the focus boost. Those two specifically are the most useful. The XP, that's there if you just want to upgrade yourself more. And the damage boost, really, I didn't use that once. It was kind of pointless, really. I want to say the gameplay, or where they made the mechanics go, is fun, but I was getting bored of this game's fighting mechanics pretty much by the second or third mission. I was just like, God, there really was nothing in this game. It's it's a very simple hack and slash type game. I usually don't play these kind of games, but after playing this, I really want to play another one to see if it really is better or worse. Honestly, I'd probably would play Bayonetta than this. So yeah, honestly, there's very little. I mean, you can also use like javelins and some other stuff in the game for like ranged attacks. But there's really not much else apart from your focus and your usual melee attacks. The enemies in this game usually range from like your light infantry, archers, like dual wield sword guys with swords and shields, heavy infantry types. It's just really annoying that the fact the game tries to make the game more difficult by just shoving more of these guys in the same area, which is just annoying. So that's not how you make a game more difficult. Otherwise, well, I mean, it is a hack and slash, but I mean, there's no combos to make. There's no like special combinations of stuff to like kill your enemies with. All you can do is just whack your enemies, and then hope for an execution, and then that's it. Rinse and repeat. It gets boring and stale fast, and it doesn't help with the fact that the bosses themselves are pretty much the freaking not bullet sponge, but freaking sword sponges that they are. You have to. I mean, there is a bit of strategy involved where you have to like try and make sure you know what moves they make, but other than that, they're boring, and plus they repeat the same boss sometimes. It's like you think you're about to kill him, then he gets freaking help. You think you're about to kill him again, no, then he gets help. It's annoying. I hate it when they did that. It does that with the final 2 bosses. It's really annoying. Stop with the stupid boss fights like that. Yeah. There is collectibles and stuff in the game, though they're really pointless. There really is no point in getting them. That's just basically just to make you play the game more. But yeah, I just feel like this game could really have improved. Not improved. It could improve a lot on a lot of things, but man, this game really is kind of pretty damn poor pretty poor game mechanics in the campaign. I mean, it looked visually amazing at the time. That's really the only mainly good thing about it. I mean, there's probably a few other good things, but that's really the only thing that comes into mind. So yeah, they could really have improved upon the mechanics of this game and the campaign in general. And last but not least, there is actually, surprisingly enough, multiplayer in this game, but it's cooperative horde mode, which is usually your easy to get out of multiplayer mode to begin with. But I feel like Rise Son of Rome probably wouldn't have benefited from an actual competitive multiplayer, honestly. I feel like this is probably the best bet it should have gone for. It's only 2 players, it's cooperative multiplayer horde. So you're basically just fighting a bunch of enemies. There is a few objectives in between, but that's pretty much it. I mean, there's sort of like a campaign as well. A multiplayer campaign, but I never really got around to that, mainly because there's really no point playing the rest of this game. But you can, the more you rank up, the more you can customize your multiplayer character. You can buy upgrades, skills, pretty much the same for your other character for the campaign. But the big major thing, or disappointment here, is that there is microtransactions. Yay! Of course. Hell, there's even microtransactions for trying to, like, pay for the skills for your campaign player. What is the point of that? Seriously, what is the point in spending money just to upgrade your character in the campaign that you're only going to play once? That is it. There is no replayable value in Rise of Rome. You play it once, that is pretty much it. There is no necessity to use your own, to pay money just to upgrade your dude in the campaign. So yeah, I feel like the multiplayer, there's really nothing much to say because it's just your basic horde mode and the fact that it's only cooperative. So there's really not much else to say about it other than the fact that you can, like, customize your soldier and there's a few other things. Yeah, it's basically just your run-of-the-mill horde mode. So overall, I think Rise of Rome is a very disappointing game. Well, not disappointing. Well, very mediocre. It's very empty. It's not as like empty compared to some other games like Evolve. But yeah, I felt like this game. It felt like it was trying to do something. It can do anything. It just felt like Order 1886. It's basically a game to show off the graphics of the new console, and that's it. Nothing else. There was nothing very positive that came out of this game. I mean, I wasn't as bored with this game than I was with Evolve, but that's not saying much. So honestly, overall, I'm going to give Rise Son of Rome a 5 out of 10. So that is my review of Rise Son of Rome, a fairly mediocre, well, a very mediocre game that was just basically a game to show off the graphics of the Xbox One. Practically the Order 1886, the Xbox One. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Leave a like, comment down below of what you think is right or wrong with the game. That's if you actually did buy it. And I shall see you guys in the next random video.